Come unlock the unknown with us and enter the Chamber of Shadows, a podcast for the dark, haunting, and mysterious. I'm your host, Selene, and I am joined by my co host, Endora. Say hi, Endora.
Good evening, spooky fam.
I'm so excited for this episode.
It's a good one.
It's a good one. So I'm going to
Mhm.
go ahead, jump in, and then we can yap after.
Okay.
They say if you hear her cries near the river, it's already too late. A woman doomed to wander the earth, searching for the children she lost or took herself. Some call her a legend, others swear they've seen her. Tonight, we dive into one of Latin America's most chilling tales, La Llorona, a ghost figure whose cry still echoes through Latin American folklore. Dun, dun, dun.
It's so good. Yeah, I'm excited to hear about it. I know it's very boogeyman-ish. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay, how much do you know about La Llorona?
I saw a really cheesy movie not probably a couple years ago. And I've heard people speak about her in podcasts, but usually those are like listener stories. So
Okay.
I've never done a deep dive on her or anything.
Okay. And let me ask you this because um you might know better than I do. Is La Llorona comparable to the woman in white?
I don't think so. No,
Okay.
no.
Because I originally typed in woman in white when I was doing my research and I was like, this isn't right. This isn't what I'm looking for. Um so I just wanted to make sure that I was correct in saying that.
Yeah, I just feel like the woman in white is generally doesn't really have a mission. Isn't she, she's there, and there's probably a reason that she's there, but
Yeah.
she doesn't really have a mission, and I feel like Lorona is mission driven.
She is mission driven.
Yeah, yeah.
So we can go ahead. I want to kind of get into the who, and then I just kept finding information on this. I guess I'll label it as a folklore. Would I be correct in saying that it's a folklore?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
fair.
So I'll consider it folklore, not that I do or don't believe in it. I personally am a believer in La Llorona. So, um, but as far as who La Llorona is, La Llorona translates directly to the weeping woman. It is primarily known in Mexican and Latin American culture, and she's known for her siren-like wails that lures in adults and children to their untimely deaths. I actually saw too where it's very prominent on Dia de los Muertos and in Chicano and Latin American communities.
Oh, I didn't know there was a link. Oh, I didn't know there was a link between Las Dios oh
Dia
man, my Spanish is
Dia
bad.
Dia de los Muertos. Well, so for everybody listening, this was a little bit of a switch up for me because I'm learning Portuguese because of my family, Brazilian Portuguese because of my family. Um, so this is very Spanish. So I was going through and I had to like reframe my pronunciation because it's just the way things are pronounced in Spanish um versus Brazilian Portuguese is very different. So
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
going through and I was like, nope, that's not correct. Yes, Dia de los Muertos. Um
Which that translates into the Day of the Dead. I'm correct, right? By
Correct.
saying that.
Yes,
Okay.
Day of the Dead. Yes. So in just bare bones, and I'm gonna jump into some origins or suspect origins rather. Bare bones, there's different versions of this tale, but the common theme is there's a woman and a man. her husband, who was unfaithful or abusive and treated their children more affectionately than he did her. Some say that he left her for a wealthier or even lighter skinned woman. And out of jealousy, rage, or despair, she's said to have lured her children to a nearby body of water and drowned them before drowning herself after she realized what she had done. Now, most commonly, her name is Maria. So, her Maria's ghost, who is known as La Llorona, is forced to wander the earth searching for her lost children.
So is that like her purgatory or
Yes, I'll get into a lot of that with the origins. It is, excuse me, it is said that she cries out. Obviously, she's the weeping woman. She is known for her wailing. So she's usually saying something along the lines of mis hijos, ¿dónde están mis hijos? So my sons, where are my sons? Um, Again, if that's not totally proper pronunciation for Spanish, I'm sorry. But um so she is known to wander along canals and rivers, which I kind of want to touch base on if I remember to later, because I've heard stories that's not necessarily near water, but that is a theme for her. Some reasons on, you know, the storytelling aspect in the Mexican culture, and I'll say Latin American culture as well. Some people would tell this story to dissuade their children from staying out too late. They say that she appears when the children misbehave. They say when men find themselves lost and alone near a lake or river, this is kind of part of what brings her about as well. It's noted that she can be summoned in a seance like environment, which I should have done more research into that because that's very interesting to me. They say that she can appear to mothers and steal their children, mistaking the children for her own. They also say that they will use the tale of La Llorona to warn romantic teenage girls against falling for boys who may have had nice clothes and money but are far too above them to consider marriage. And I do want to note, which is relatively common in folklore and cryptids and some of these things that we'll cover on this podcast. This is not just per se something that takes place in Mexico. This is something that is found in other places, and there are places in America where this happens as well. So I just wanted to throw that out there.
okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
Um so you said she is also looking for men. So is she drowning men?
Yeah.
I thought it
That's
was just
part of
little
the
kids.
reports. No.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So when I was going through, and I'll touch base on that, I think I want to go through the origins first because there is a lot in the origins. Um, but yeah, there's some reports where she doesn't really care if it's a woman, child, or man.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. So as far as the origins go, there there's no correct answer to this. There are a lot of possibilities.
Oh.
Some people believe that it originated in Mexico. Some people believe that it originated from Spain via oral tradition. Some historians identify La Llorona as directly linked to the Aztec earth goddess. I'm going to mess this up. I'm so sorry. Coatlicue?
Unsure.
Unsure. Unsure. I don't know much about Aztec culture. A very popular one that I found, though, and there was actually a book on this. The book was The Legend of La Llorona from Rudolfo Anaya. But this is a tradition that holds that she is, again, I'm so sorry if I mess this up, but Malintzin or La Malinche, the enslaved indigenous woman who was the primary interpreter and concubine of Spanish conquistador Hernan Cortez.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of this?
No.
Okay. So apparently, after having a child with Cortez, this woman, this enslaved indigenous woman, I'll call her La Malinche. Does that sound more proper than La Malinche?
Girl, listen. Cerveza fria, por favor. That's all you're getting from me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I took Spanish for like 8 to 10 years and I just never had anyone to speak Spanish with because my family's Irish or Brazilian. So a lot of that is just lost to me. Like, I do want to eventually relearn it. I remember a lot of the basics of it, but um okay, sorry. After having a child with Cortez, you know what?
What's wrong?
Malin. I'm gonna look it up.
Oh, okay.
Ask Dr. Google. What is this? Go away. Mal Malinche? Ma? Lean?
Do
Che?
it on your phone and
Chi?
then hit the say it.
Oh, it's right yeah, it's Ma Lean Chi. Che. It's a short
Malinche? Ma M
Malinche. Malinche.
Malinche? Okay.
Malinche. You heard it here live, guys. All right, Malinche. Malinche. So, after having a child with Cortez, La Malinche, who aided in the conquest of Mexico as a translator for the Spanish, was replaced by a highborn Spanish wife. Now, this goes
Uh-oh.
back to, yeah, some of the Aztec cultures. So they claim that her Aztec pride and her jealousy drove her to acts of vengeance against the intruders from across the sea. And that was a really common theory that I saw throughout everything was this kind of Aztec background to it.
Oh,
There's
okay.
also a yeah, I thought that was actually really, really interesting. There's also a theory about a Spanish nobleman and a peasant girl. So this kind of goes back to remember I said, they kind of use this as a way to warn teenage girls from falling for these boys with the nice clothes and the money and too far, quote unquote, too far above them for marriage.
Right.
So this is where this kind of comes from. There was this they called him a young hidalgo, which is noble lineage with wealth, but not royal status, from what I saw. He fell in love with a lowly girl, usually named Maria, who bore his children. It was said that they lived a happy life together, but they were not married by the church. His parents were unaware of their situation, as this would not be acceptable since she was, quote unquote, beneath him and his status. So he was forced to marry another woman, but he swore to Maria that he would not desert them. The wedding took place, and Maria stood at the back of the church, veiled. And once the wedding was over, she went home in a crazed state and killed her children and threw them into a nearby body of water and then drowned herself.
Damn. Well, so she had multiple children. Did she have a child before she had Cortez Jr. or
Unsure. So
okay,
the children is a little unclear again because there's so many different variations of the origins and even
right.
just the story in general.
Mhm.
So a lot of the things that I saw were she had 2 sons or she had 2 or 3 daughters or so I really tried to keep it as children, going through it, which is why I say children and not sons or daughters, just because obviously so it's so varied throughout everything. Now, after she threw them into a nearby body of water, after she drowned herself, When her soul applied for the admission to heaven, El Señor refused her entry, asking her where her children were.
Wait, I'm sorry. Is El Señor God? Is that what they call God? I didn't
That
know that.
is it's it's capitalized in some of the different sources that I used. So I'm gonna assume yes. I'm gonna
Wow.
assume that
Okay.
that's either they they're Christian, right?
Yeah.
A majority of Mexico
Yeah.
is Christianity, so I would
Yeah.
assume that it's God,
I think
or at least
the majority I believe is Catholic, but I wouldn't swear.
Catholic. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So yes, that was my assumption, was either that's God or their version of God. Uh, so when he asked her where her children were, she replied that she didn't know, and he let her know that she needed to bring them and that she cannot rest until they are found.
Oh, that's so sad.
So ever since then, she wanders the streets at night, weeping and crying for her children. Another version talks about how Maria's children died accidentally while she was cavorting with gentlemen callers.
Uh-oh.
Yep. I thought this was very interesting. There was a theory with the origin of how it's possibly a retelling of Zeus's infidelity when he cheated on his wife Hera with Lamia. Lamia.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yeah, didn't she Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. I'm getting ahead of you, but yeah, I think so, yeah.
So, and I am not well versed. I know I told you I want to do something on Greek mythology at some point on here. But supposedly, Hera turned her into a monster that devours her own children and is forced to walk the earth and eat every child she finds.
Oh, well, I must be thinking of the wrong story because I swear Hera turned her into a bee.
I don't know anything about Greek mythology. So I
Oh.
actually don't know. I would not be able to correct you or myself on what is correct and what's not. I just know that this was a theory that I saw in one of the sources.
Well, and also no theory written by a man is complete unless the woman becomes a whore.
No,
So,
I know that's right. I know that's right.
why do they always gotta be whores? Why is that gotta be? That's not
Yeah, like men. And this goes into what I said earlier with this doesn't just take place in Mexico. This is kind of I don't know that I can say worldwide. I mean, I guess there's probably something similar in Spain would be my best guess. I know it happens in Mexico, and I know that there's reportings in southwestern America.
yeah, I've heard that also.
Yeah, so another one that I found took place in northwestern Arizona. I thought this was interesting, and so this kind of goes back also to when I said earlier it mentioned the rivers and bodies of water, and that's usually where she hangs out, which makes sense. That's the very basic version of her.
Mhm, mhm.
But stories like this or theories like this are why I'm kind of like I thought that I heard a story or two of her not being around the water. So I don't know if I assume this would still be considered La Llorona versus, again, I don't know. I would have to look further into the woman in white because I do not remember much about the woman in white. So
Well, that movie that I saw with Lou Diamond Phillips, I think they ended up in a pool, if I'm not mistaken. So, yeah, I guess maybe any water will do.
it is, oh yeah, it's definitely any water. But this one doesn't involve water. So it takes place in northwestern Arizona. It's actually originally about a woman named Lana who lived in Kingman Canyon with her husband and two children. She felt that her husband was paying too much attention to their daughters and became increasingly jealous. So, again, in envy and rage, she pushed them over the canyon's edge to their deaths.
Yikes. Why
Yeah.
react when you can overreact?
Yeah, right? It's then
Ooh.
reported that her husband left her, and then she then threw herself off the edge of the canyon to join her children. And she has since been wandering the canyon for eternity, alone and wailing with grief, usually between midnight and 3 a.m.
Oh,
I don't know the significance of the time there. I don't know if that's related to what time she would have either thrown her children or herself off the canyon's edge, or if it just adds to the scare factor of
I mean,
being in
those
the
are
middle of the night.
all the good stories
Yeah,
are after
right?
midnight, yeah.
Right? I've been watching, on on TikTok, it's a new account, and they've been telling these stories, and it's like, "You've been hired for whatever this, like, late night shift is," and one of them was, like, a truck driver, there's another one for watching a house, another one for a bakery, and it's, like, all these steps you have to follow these rules to survive the night.
Wait, when you say steps, do you mean actual steps?
Yeah, it's like these rules that they're like, "Congratulations, you got this job for," let's say, the truck. So, you got this truck job. You have to drive through the middle of the night, but here's 10 rules that you need to follow, and, like, one of the rules is when the radio static starts on the 120th mile, you need to stop the truck, cut the engine off, and lean your seat back and don't move and don't look out the windows even if your door opens. So I've been deep in these stories. I was watching them last night and it's like all these I got to send them to you. It's really nice. I
Yes.
like it.
Yes, I
Scare
wanna see it.
factor.
Also, I wanna play. Can I play?
I wanna apply. I wanna apply. Yeah, the bakery one was crazy because it's like the babysitter brings, this little girl in, and the babysitter's not supposed to be there. So, like, if the babysitter asks you to serve her or asks for a drink or something, you need to turn all the lights off for 60 seconds, and when you turn them back on, she should be gone.
I wanna play! Yes! Pick me!
Yeah, I need to send them to you because 'cause they're so good. They're so good.
Oh.
Uh, so not I just got off track, but that's fine. Going back to I don't know if midnight to 3 a.m. is for the scare factor, maybe. It makes sense if it is, but there's also a theory for the origins where her husband killed the children and not her. So
Well,
this
that's
theory
extra mean.
yeah, right? Like, add it to my list. Add it to my list. The story goes that there was a poor woman and husband who couldn't afford to feed their children. His solution was to drown the children. She followed him to the river where she saw him throw their newborn fifth child into the water. She jumped in after to try to save the baby, and they both drowned. So ever since then, she returns to the riverbed nightly, searching for her children.
Aw. Why is she not searching for him so she can give him some what for?
Yeah, maybe that's her retribution.
Yes, yes.
Maybe that's her retribution. The last origin that I have, and again, there were so many. These were just some of the ones that I immediately found, but another one that I found were that her and her husband were very happy until they had their 2 sons and he began having affairs, which is the most common story. She threw the children into the river and then refused to leave the bank of the river or eat, and she eventually died.
Mm, I don't know about that. I feel like the
Yeah.
townspeople would have something to say. I feel
Oh,
like she'd be in
100%.
jail or hung or
Yeah.
drowned herself. Yeah.
Is there one that you which like, I kind of have my belief, but is there an origin from the ones that I said that kind of felt more right with you?
No, because it's kind of all over the board, and I kinda don't hate any of them, to be
Yeah.
honest. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I think the Aztec one and even I'll say even the Zeus one, again, I can't vouch too much for that because I am completely ill ill whatever. I don't ill known. What word am I looking for?
Ill-equipped.
Yes, thank you, ill-equipped. I know nothing about Greek mythology, so but I think it's interesting when we get stories like this and folklore legends like this, because I think it's very possible, and we haven't talked very much on the different belief systems like Greek or Roman mythology yet, but those are very, very entwined into culture. So I think it's very possible that this is a legend or folklore that stems from the Aztec or the Greek or Roman mythologies.
Yeah, where do we have an idea of when pop culture starts talking about La Llorona?
Um, Pop culture is very significant with La Llorona at this point now. I just don't know. I didn't do too much research on the pop culture side of things just because that's more so kind of not easy to find out, but I really just wanted to get to kind of the core of it. So I didn't
Mhm,
focus as
mhm.
much on pop culture with it. All right.
What about you? Which one is there one that you
I
feel
would
like it
say yeah,
fits?
I would definitely say either, one of the Aztec or Greek mythologies or I'm not mad at the most basic version of it being a woman who killed her children because her husband was having affairs, and once she kinda came out of this crazed state, she drowned herself. And it makes sense to me that, I mean, that's just it's a different kind of anguish that is hard for people to conceptualize. It's also because let's talk about this, postpartum depression is a thing.
I mean, yeah. Yeah, it is. Um, that's kind of what makes it more real though, right? Like,
Right.
have
And
truer
it's
origins.
and that could be kind of that aspect of let's say she's going through something like postpartum depression, and I don't know statistics
It
on it,
would
so I don't
probably be more
know.
like postpartum psychosis.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
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 Where she does this, she drowns her children, and then she kinda snaps out of it and has that moment of, "Oh, shit."
What have I done? Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's very and, that would follow if we're looking into the ghost aspect of things. Absolutely, that would fall into a reason for somebody being bound or choosing to stay or whatever your belief is on ghosts still being here.
Right.
So I think
Right.
that's very, very plausible for an origin for it.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
So next thing I have are the actual encounters with La Llorona. Before I
All
get into
right.
this, Do you have anything that you know of with encountering La Llorona?
I really don't.
Okay.
I've heard some listener stories from some podcasts, and I
Mhm.
watched a cheesy movie that probably doesn't have one scrap of fact in it, and that was a couple years ago. So, yeah,
Was it the what is it? The Curse of La Llorona in
I
2019 that was released?
I believe that's correct. Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
pretty sure.
I haven't seen that, so I definitely need
I feel
to.
like it was like a sci-fi original or something. Like, I feel like it
Really?
wasn't I don't think it was ever at the theaters, but I could be wrong. Maybe I just watched it
Okay.
on Sci-Fi. I don't know.
I have
Is
no
Sci-Fi still
idea.
around? Is that still a thing? I don't have
Uh,
cable, so I don't know.
I don't either. I would not. I am not, I am awful with TV shows and movies, so I'm the last person to ask.
That's those are facts. All right.
Yeah. Right? All right, well, let's get into the encounters then.
Do it.
So, she's described a couple different ways. Long hair is very, very common for her. Being dressed in entirely black or entirely white is also a very common reporting. I've also heard about her having a veil, also very, very common reporting. But I also found where they noted that she had maybe like a hooded cape. I saw some reports saying that she's very young and pretty, other reports of her face resembling a horse, and
What?
yeah, and
Where
other
does that come in at?
reports I don't I don't know.
That's messed
Uh,
up.
yeah,
You
and
killed
other
your baby horse
reports.
face. That's not very nice.
That was crazy. Horseface was crazy. Oh my god. A more often report, though, is of her having a blank face and long fingernails. The most unsettling thing, I literally gasped when I read this because this was so unsettling to me. Some people report that she has the bones of her dead children embedded in her backbone. Is that real?
What? I'm sorry, what did you say? Her
Yeah, you heard me.
dead baby bones in her back? Horse face?
Yeah.
They're making
Horseface.
they're making quite a creature.
They're making quite a creature.
Okay.
But most commonly, and I'm going to reiterate this, most commonly, entirely black or white dressed with the veil, long hair, most often a blank face and long fingernails. That's the most common occurrence that I have seen about her. In all cases, it is stated that she is to be avoided at all costs. Those that hear her cries are reportedly destined for misfortune or even death. It's noted that she's a desperate and malevolent spirit, and she acts unflinchingly and without mercy.
Damn.
How do you feel about that? I typed that out, and that was very interesting to me. Desperate is one thing, but to describe her as a malevolent spirit, which is how pop culture portrays her, as a malevolent
Mhm.
spirit.
Mhm.
How do we how do we feel about that aspect of it though? If we're looking at it from if we're taking into account all of the origins that I kind of stated, would you consider her a malevolent spirit? Cuz she is, I mean, even in I know in Mexican Latin American culture, like they're like, "Oh yeah, no, stay away from her," because of that misfortune and the death. But would you say that that equates to her being malevolent?
I mean, yeah, she's hunting kids to drown them. She's hunting your man to drown him. Maybe you too.
Well, here's why I asked that, because what if it's this kind of, again, if we're looking at this from a psychosis aspect, what if it's just kind of that, you know, she's not comprehending until she does? Does that make sense? Like, let's take it from the children aspect. Let's say, she takes somebody's children because that's a report is that she kidnaps children, they're never seen again. Or she kidnaps children and they're drowned when she realizes that they're not their own. Let's just say she's kidnapping these children, she's drowning these children. Could that be viewed as more of a how do I like a replaying of history? Like, not that it's intentional, but just that that's the psychosis aspect of it, maybe? Does that make sense? Does
That
it
she
make
has to
sense what
keep
I'm
living
trying
it over
to
and over again?
Right.
I mean, the part that makes it malevolent in that situation is that, well, you just killed some more babies. Like, it's it's like,
Yeah.
look,
Yeah, I guess that makes sense that's just yeah. Yeah.
you gotta go.
Do you think it's possible for again, I'm gonna take this in the form of ghosts. Do you think it's possible for ghosts to still kind of go through something like that psychosis where they're doing things and then they have that moment of realization and it's the "oh shit" moment again? Do you think that's possible?
Mm, kind of, yes, I do. Because I went and had a reading done. And um that woman told me that my mother had been there all day waiting for me to get there, so she knew I was coming. She had a couple other readings, but she knew that she was there for me. And um, when I arrived, she was like, I'm so glad you're here because please, can we settle some stuff with her? Because she won't give me a moment's peace.
Yeah.
Um, and she's like, what's her issue? And I'm like, well, when she died, she had, she was fully engulfed in dementia. So, she knows some things that are happening, but not all the
Yeah.
things, and she may not be making connections, and she's like, "Absolutely, that's what's happening because she's not making any sense. Can you make sense of ABC?" And I'm like, "Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can." Yeah, I definitely can. So,
Okay.
it was definitely her in my
Yeah.
mind. It was definitely her. She definitely talked about things that, no, but who would know that? Nobody would know
Yeah.
that. Even my sister doesn't know that. Like, yeah, so for
Yeah.
sure it was her, and for sure she didn't really understand everything that was going on.
Okay. Yeah, and I wanna clarify, like, I do support, like, avoid avoid La Llorona at all costs. Like, I'm not saying that she's this nice ghost and you should go make friends. I'm just trying to look at it, I guess, from a different perspective of, more so is this a woman who's just reliving history, you know? So
Yeah.
yes, as far as other encounters go, I mentioned the kidnapping children and some are never seen again. Drowning children that she's found or kidnapped when she realizes that they're not her own. There is the aspect of this seduction of men who are alone, especially like when they're around water and stuff. And then she murders him as some form of revenge for her husband's alleged abuse or adultery.
Well, don't be cheating on your wife
Yeah.
and looking for love on the waterfront.
And looking for love on the waterfront. Others claim she kills men, women, and children indiscriminately. But reportedly, and I thought this was very interesting. It makes sense though, and I think I had heard this before from like somebody talking about it on TikTok. Um, Reportedly her wails sound more distant the closer she is to someone.
That's creepy as hell.
Yeah.
Wow. Ew, I don't like that.
I don't like it either. But once I read that, I was like, "Ooh, I think I have heard that before." I think it was somebody, like, recounting their story on TikTok, and she was talking about it. I found in one of the sources, they talked about a 1968 American folklorist, Bess Lomax Hawes, who published an article called La Llorona in Juvenile Hall, and it's accounts of a weeping woman haunting a juvenile detention facility in California.
Hmm.
Yeah. Sometimes she sees you from afar and she will pursue you. Horseface. Sometimes she appears riding a horse or appears in your horse drawn carriage or in your car. So- Jesus. Sometimes she'll just disappear, but other times her encounter is fatal. Sometimes she's observed simply roaming at a distance, but there are reports that Hispanic culture has methods of keeping her at bay, like religious symbols, crosses, light prayers. But apparently, she can still enter buildings. Something I saw was saying that she can, like, still enter these buildings despite this protection. So I
Okay.
guess I'm kind of confused at the aspect of maybe it's more so like personal protection or familial protection with these symbols, crosses, light, and prayer. If she
Maybe or
can
maybe they just don't
still
work, maybe it's like those over-the-counter flea meds. Go ahead and buy them, but it ain't gonna work.
Oh, so we're just gonna say it how it is on here. Got it.
I mean,
Got it.
maybe, um, yeah, I'm unsure, but one thing I did notice was that you have not mentioned any D word at all concerning her.
Nothing said it.
No devil, no demon, no.
Nothing.
Yeah.
Nothing that I saw talked about it.
Huh,
Yeah,
interesting.
nothing. No way, shape, or form did it talk about any relation or suspicion that it was something of that nature.
Huh.
It's also said that she can travel through objects and stay there until she's forced out or leaves on her own.
What kind of objects?
I have no idea. I have no idea, but that's a little terrifying.
Um, yeah, just don't sit on that couch over there. La Llorona's in there. Just let her sleep. If you wake her up, we're all in trouble.
We're all screwed. You know what? Just avoid it. Never mind. Just don't even sit down anywhere in the house.
Baby, did you take that chair out to the garage that I asked you to? You know La Llorona's in there. And we can't have none of the kids' friends coming over and sitting on La Llorona.
Not La Llorona. Oh my god. Can I also ask, is this a situation where we're not supposed to say her name in a similar aspect of the flesh pedestrians?
Too late.
And we've just been like spewing it left and right.
Well, I mean, maybe.
I've
I think
never heard of like anybody. The main thing that I've heard with not saying it is the flesh pedestrian word.
yeah.
So, um, for listeners who don't know what flesh pedestrian is, just take a peek, take a gander at it. So, the last thing that I kind of have that I wanted to touch base on, well, I'll say two things. Number one, for legal reasons, we are not going to have any story time on this episode, only because there are plenty of stories out there, but I don't know legality wise what I can and can't share, even with crediting people. So, if you have any stories on La Llorona,
Oh,
send them
yes.
in. Tell
Do.
us.
Yes.
Because we are once we start to get some listener stories, we are going to do a listener stories episode or episodes.
Yeah, if you
So, we
guys send enough.
definitely
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that would be absolutely amazing, and if you have any thoughts, opinions, questions, concerns, send those too. You can message us at the Chamber of Shadows on TikTok or Instagram, or you can email us at thechamberofshadows@gmail.com.
Hey, I
What
just
was
thought of
that?
something.
What?
We could literally like do a three-way in Riverside and have them tell their story and we can interview them while they tell their story.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. That sounds great.
100%. Yeah.
As soon as people start listening to us, I'm
As
just saying.
soon as as soon as we start getting listeners. Well, I hope everybody's still listening because I do have a fun fact about La Llorona because she's also part of a children's game.
What? What
Yeah.
kind of game?
Apparently it's similar to Ring Around the Rosie. It's called Donde Están Mis Hijos, and it's like a dark version of hide and seek.
Did you just say where are the assholes? Is that what you just said? Where are the assholes?
No, ¿Dónde están mis hijos?
Okay.
Where are the where are the children? Where are my sons? Where
Where are the
my
a-holes?
god.
That's what I heard. Sorry.
Where are the
Sorry.
a-holes? I'm gonna listen back to that later during editing and be like, "Yeah, it did sound like that, didn't it?"
It's me. I'm ignorant. I'm sorry. Okay.
Is that cuckoo going off? Is that cuckoo? That was a
No,
little creepy.
no, I didn't hear anything, and no, it's not. Plus, what time is it? Oh, it's almost 6 o'clock, but no, it didn't go off.
I was
What did you hear?
walking it was music. It sounded like cuckoo. I was walking down the street. Okay, fun story before we end everything. Um, I was walking down the street with one of my tours, and we're all just talking. And keep in mind, like it's probably 8:30 ish at night. It's dark, and we just hear it. Literally sounds like an ice cream truck, but like creepy version.
Like the
And all of
battery's going
us,
dead?
it was horrifying, and we all just kind of like started looking at each other. And it was music that was coming from a car that ended up passing us, but it was absolutely horrifying. Jack in the Box? What the hell is that?
It is a Jack in the Box.
What is that?
It's it's my Jack in
Oh,
the
that
Box.
thing? That?
Hello.
Oh, you
I
just said my you just said
can't
my
did I
government
just
name.
Oh, how dare I? How dare I? Hold on, we'll do it again.
Oh god. That thing
So,
looks like
Selena,
that thing looks like one of those that's
come
gotta be
get some ice
vintage.
cream, Selena.
I ain't getting no ice cream from anybody who talks to me like that. With that, did you have any last question, comment, concern, opinion?
No, just stay away from the water between midnight and 3 and everything's gonna be alright.
No, that was the canyon.
What?
That was the canyon. The woman in the canyon was from midnight
Listen,
to 3. I'm just letting you know.
it's very confusing.
It is very confusing. There's a lot. There was a lot that goes into this
Wait, so she can
legend.
just come at any time for your children? It doesn't have to be nighttime?
I mean, I assume it's nighttime. I've
What?
never heard any stories about her coming during the day.
Okay, that makes sense.
Wait. Okay, this
Oh.
brings about the question, and then I swear I'll end this off. Because hauntings happen during the day.
Right.
They don't just happen at night. So why are there only reports of it being at night?
Oh, she's trying to get her beauty sleep because everybody keeps calling her a horse face.
That was insane. There was only one source that said that, but I had to throw it in there because I was like, "This is the most absurd thing
It is really
that I
that
have."
is really crazy.
That's insane. Insane.
I mean, you just say La Llorona and I picture a beautiful woman. I don't picture
Here's what
yeah.
I picture. I beauti I picture let me not have a stroke.
Mhm.
I picture a beautiful woman, long, dark hair, like dark brown or black hair, wearing all white. That is my interpretation is all white. But, like, it's almost like she's wet.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I assume that she's wet, yeah.
Like, kind of that mascara running down the cheeks kind of look to her.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I can see it.
That is my interpretation.
Yeah, I don't picture
However,
corpsey or old lady,
no.
or I don't picture anything like that.
I can understand that kind of pop culture with the all black and the long, kind of terrifying nails. Horseface doesn't do it for me.
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting the report of her riding on a horse was crazy.
Yeah, that horse ain't drowning for you.
No!
No, it ain't gonna happen. I don't think so. Yeah, no.
Lord.
I mean, I don't know. What do I know? It's not my story, but I don't think that's
Yeah,
real.
I don't think that's real either.
Anyway, just don't go out after midnight, you
Don't
know?
go out after midnight. You know what? Ever. Like, anywhere ever. Nothing good happens after midnight,
Okay.
okay?
You know what mama says about after midnight.
What?
There ain't nothing open but a pair of legs, so you get your ass home.
Oh, I know that's right. Well, to finish us off, do you believe in La Llorona?
I believe it's possible. Hmm? I
Okay.
mean, I've never seen
Is
her
that like
myself, but
is that like Bigfoot for me? 'Cause I
mm,
definitely I'm a strong believer that La Llorona exists.
nope. I wouldn't say I'm a strong believer, but I am open to the possibility.
Okay. So
Yeah.
that's like me with Bigfoot. Okay. Alright. Alright. Well, with that, thank you and good night. Good luck, Charlie. Adios. Sayonara. Farewell.
All right. See y'all next
Au
week.
revoir.
Au revoir. Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.